So for the obese elderly sister with impaired glucose tolerance, she was started on Bacoric along with lifestyle changes. And for the not these younger sister, lifestyle changes along with CO seekings what we read. A lot of discussion over the past 2 3 years on agonist pharmacotherapy PCOS focusing on GLP-1 receptor agonists mostly. We have a lot of evidence now in favor of liraglutide, semaglutide as well as exenatide in PCOS without diabetes, and they have been found to be effective mostly for the metabolic and anti-inflammatory parameters. The insignificant effects, however, on the androgen levels. But as you all know, insulin resistance and hyperthyroidism are closely checkpoints. So maybe if the strike was extend for few months more, we could have seen effects on capital levels as well. For early step also, few studies but remarkably good results. And recently we published a systematic view of SGLT efficacy in PCOS, and again we found that impact and TAPA as compared to metformin, the DRC reduction was more significant, whereas the reduction of testosterone was similar to metformin and well used in combination with GLP-1 RAs. SGLT2 inhibitor plus GLP-1 RA PCOS without diabetes is very good for the metabolic and anxiety parameters, whereas the SGLT inhibitor metformin formulation showed better effects on the hyperactive feedback. Bariatric surgery, yes, it is indicating a bariatric patient will possibly, if the patient is having PCOS, it is important to lower the BMI cutoffs to consider a bariatric surgery. And since it leads to rapid return of fertility, the need for contraception is to be explained very clearly to the patient, because you know the patient has to wait for a certain period of time after bariatric surgery before she becomes pregnant to avoid the hassles of fertility deficiency weakness. So the elder sister, obese, not responding properly to lifestyle changes and responding, possibly GLP-1 IS could be a better option to a good option add in her. And the younger sister with no significant results on her hirsutism, apart from lifestyle modification and 6 months of papyrosity, we could add for spiral that to her. Iodocetones, as we know, they are also being increasingly used with very good results because it take care of all the insulin resistance as well as the FSH signaling parts has shown very good results in improvement in insulin resistance, menstrual frequency, hyperandrogenism reduction, as also reducing the incidence of gestational diabetes and keto bloods. So in 2018, it was considered as experimental therapy. It has a very clear PCS are in any form should be consumed with PCOS for including both watch parameters as well as hormonal parameters. But what we really do not know is what form, what ratio of ECG carbohydrate and how long the monitor bills lactation. There are many unanswered questions as of now. So for the now both these sisters are now planning conception. So what next? Of course, we stop the spiral electron OCPs, GLP-1 RAs, whereas continue the lifestyle modification with metformin and possibly inositol. Preconceptional checkups for glycemic status, blood pressure, thyroid is very important. Now, it do not conceive spontaneously in 12 months after all of these. What next? So as you know, pregnancy, PCOS samples, the very high risk for gestational diabetes, miscarriage, hypertension, and so many other things which you all know. Right? So there is a very dire need for preconception as well as early pregnancy checkups for dysglycemia, blood pressure, and body weight as well. And covariation topic of covariation reduction agents in PCOS allopurinol, letrozole, followed by promptly inside performing promptly, followed by promptly, followed by forminalol. And so both of these sisters were rebel letrozole. So the first obese sister, she did not have an improved response over 6 cycles. The non-case younger sister conceived within 3 cycles of letrozole. So what has changed is the second line after letrozole. So in 2018, gonadotropin therapy was the second time people like the PCOS who failed first line oral OI therapy, which was letrozole or clomidine or metformin or combination. But 2023, they say gonadotropin should be considered over clomidine. Treatment made PCOS, and of course the low dose step up approach is used, but there is the risk of artificial pregnancy as well as ovarian discrimination. So this is not my domain. I would refer this patient to an ITEC specialist. But just to note that there are measures to reduce risk for ovarian hyperstimulation, which includes adjunct metformin therapy. Now, talking about metformin, whether to continue it or not during pregnancy, that remains a question. As we know, the diabetes guidelines recommend it should be stopped. But if you look at the PCOS guidelines, it says that may cardio kit, it is otherwise indicated because it does reduce the risk for preterm births and with extension of gestational weight gain, is pregnant with epic slows. So the first obese the elder sister, who paired with letrozole, she conceived with gonadotropy, building letrozole to gonadotropy. She conceived after 2 cycles of IVF, and the metformin was continued to her. And the non-obese younger sister, she was already 3 months pregnant at this time, but it's important to screen her for early GBA, that is in the first trimester itself. Another interesting finding is that it has been found that fathers but not mothers and brothers but not sisters of patients with PCOS do have a high risk for metabolic syndrome. It suggests that there could be a genetically defined, ovary independent male cardiometabolic equivalent called PCOS. Talking about the menopause diagnosis in the pyramid, very menopausal age group, the recent guidelines acknowledge that PCOS is the lifelong diagnosis like diabetes, like hypertension. Only that for patients presenting for the first time during menopause, it's important to rule out stillness and ovarian hypertrichosis as also the hyperthyroidism. Talking about diagnosing in adolescents, for diagnosing PCOS in adolescents, imaging is not to be used. There has to be the presence of irregular cycles as well as hyperandrogenism and Bishop
I think you need
Okay, sure. So the key address is that biochemical hyperandrogenism, if we are to be used, if it is to be used, it has to be using reliable passive methods, otherwise calculatory testosterone. AMH is a good surrogate. There is an emerging role of GLP-1 and artemisinin, and it is important to identify adolescents at risk for PCOS and be well at that time. Thank you so much.